What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Frank here, the Red Side Guy. So recently Monolith Games had their 4th livestream event regarding Middle-earth Shadow of War. Now, even though they played Shadow of Mordor for 2 hours, they did take on a lot of questions from the chat and try to answer as many of them. And I just took away about 18 key facts or so from this chat, from this live stream event regarding Middle-earth Shadow of War that I just want to recap you guys with. Starting with the first point is the fact that overlords will always be located in the citadel, while captains can roam the region and be summoned at your will. Now, somebody did ask about different races, and they didn't really speak about them other than saying that war will be discussed in future events. And frankly, that was been the answer for a lot of things. They speak about it for a few seconds, and they say, we can't really speak about this now, more will be discussed in the future. Now, just like in Shadow of Mordor, there will be some sort of tab, a clear indication which provides the strengths and weaknesses of each captain when you highlight them. They also spoke about the Ulugai, saying that they have different classes with different traits. For example, you'll need a specific class to obtain an Ulugai with the Gatebreaker trait. Now, for those of you that don't know what Ulugais are, if you remember the gameplay reveal trailer of Shadow of War, not Shadow of Mordor, you remember Aslar came through and he broke the gate. Now, Aslar is basically an Ulugai, basically an advanced version of a troll, and you'll need one of those with the Gatebreaker ability to be able to break the gate, essentially. So it is interesting to know that each one will have different traits and abilities, making the game a bit more strategic than just sending this big guy to destroy that gate. You cannot sadly customize orcs, as they choose their own gear and weapons to level up, which is kind of unfortunate because I was hoping that you can customize orcs to your heart's content, I suppose, but I'm hoping that maybe in the future they will add this ability to the game. You can choose where your war chief defend the fortress depending on their abilities, adding a more strategic element to the game. So if you have a war chief with some sort of vision ability, then you can choose to place him on the wall, as they will see the enemies coming from far. Or if you have one that's maybe immune to fire or that gets enhanced by fire, you can maybe place them in an area where you know drakes will attack. So if a drake attacks with fire, that orc will basically be immune to this attack and will actually be stronger from the fire, which is nice. They also say, and from my understanding, that you cannot sneakily capture the different sections of a fortress seen in the gameplay where Talion slams down the spear claiming a section. So even though you can attack a fortress sneakily and stealthily, taking out the orcs and the captains, you cannot capture an area sneakily. I mean, it's not like capture the flag where you just stand in a zone and then you see a meter filling up. No, it's unfortunately not like that. As you remember in the gameplay trailer where Talion slams down that spear saying something like, this is now my area, or something like that, just before Aslar comes in and destroys the gate. So you make quite a big impact saying, you know, this is my area. It's not like you stand in the corner sneakily capturing the area. Excuse me. They also mentioned that your captains and war chief can execute enemies in battle just like you can by decapitating enemies and cutting off their limbs, which is rather awesome. And they did dive in a little bit about new weapons, saying stuff like two-handed axes, poisoned swords, and boomerang axes will be a thing of Shadow of War. They also mentioned Talion's appearance, saying that it will change over the course of the game, but they didn't really exactly say how it will change. Which is interesting because it makes me think of the fact that maybe somehow the ring will affect his appearance throughout the game, or maybe he will be poisoned at some area, making his appearance visually change as the story goes on. It reminds me a lot of the Batman Arkham games, where Batman's armor and his cowl got more damaged and more destroyed as the game went on, because I mean, he goes through a lot of things. So you see physically how the world and the story is affecting Batman. Maybe something like that will happen to Talion. You'll see him physically, maybe, who knows, maybe he'll lose a limb. I doubt that he'll lose a limb, but maybe something drastically will happen to him and you'll see him have a massive scar, or more scars on his body and his armor just being torn as the game goes on. Maybe something like that. It'll be interesting to see how the world will affect Talion's appearance as the game goes on. They also mentioned stuff about the Overlord's tribe affiliated with excuse me, let me rephrase that. The Overlord's tribe affiliation will impact the territory mechanically and visually, as you will see more activity in that region associated with the tribe. So if you have an Overlord or a tribe that's more focused towards beasts and those kind of creatures, the territory will be basically affected with a lot of enemies and allies regarding the tribe that's taking over that area, which is nice because it makes the game seem like you are affecting the territory, which depending on which tribe you place in certain territories, you can visually and mechanically see that area changing according to the tribe that's basically dominating that area. You can also train your Urks to increase their power. They didn't really say to what extent, but basically you can train them instead of them just standing there doing nothing, waiting for enemies. You can actually make them stronger, which is always nice. They also mentioned that rare gear provides certain abilities that complement specific traits of the captains you bring into battle, which adds a whole new strategic element to the game. So not only will the gear and rare loot affect basically your stats, it will affect your abilities and the captain's abilities as well, which is always nice. It just adds a whole new element to the game depending on what you're about to do. You can change your gear and change your traits according to that. They also say that leveling up fortresses allows more sections where you can add more war chiefs, making your fortress much stronger. And they also confirmed that Troy Baker will once again voice Talion, but I think they mentioned that in the past as well. Another thing they mentioned about Overlords is the fact that Overlords can retain their title only if they stay in the Citadel, and if you take them out they become a bodyguard. So automatically Overlords have abilities and traits, so if you take them out of the fortress, out of the Citadel, basically, then they will just become regular bodyguards. So keep that in mind. If you want maybe somebody with the different abilities, then maybe that's why you want to swap them out. But as it stands, I don't see why you would want to take them out in the first place, because they would lose all of their abilities. The last thing they basically mentioned is that somebody asked how Shadow of War will run on PlayStation 4, PlayStation 4 Pro compared to the Xbox One, Xbox Scorpio and the PC, because I mean Shadow of War is the first official game to be announced for Xbox Scorpio, and they did say that each version will be optimized for that platform. So it makes me think, I'm just speculating here, but it makes me think that each version will look obviously different, but console wise the Xbox Scorpio will be the best looking one in terms of visuals and physics and the amount of enemies on screen, because the Xbox Scorpio will be the most powerful console when it gets released end of this year. I'm sure Microsoft will have some sort of trailer at E3 this year regarding Shadow of War, because at E3 they say that they will officially unveil the Xbox Scorpio. I'm sure the PC version as well will look the best, probably because PC always looks mostly the best. But it's nice to see that they're optimizing each version for the specific console, and it's not like the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One is going to be a downgrade of the PlayStation 4 Pro and the Xbox Scorpio. It's not going to be like that. Each version is going to be optimized for the specific console. So it is nice, you know, to know that, and the fact that they're focusing a lot of attention on making the game the best it can be on each platform. Lastly, they just said tons of new information coming sometime this April in terms of gameplay and trailers. So if you guys want to be up to date with the latest Shadow of War content, then be sure to click that subscribe button and activate that notification, so as soon as the video goes up, then you'll be notified, because a ton of Shadow of War content is coming very soon. And don't forget, I'm giving away a copy of Middle-earth: Shadow of Mordor, the Game of the Year edition. I'm giving away 2 copies of the platform of your choice, PlayStation 4, Xbox One or PC. So look in the description for that video, or just check at the end of the video for the link to that video where you can enter to win a copy of Shadow of Mordor, the Game of the Year edition, on a platform of your choice. But let me know in the comment section below what you guys wanted to know of Shadow of War, and I'll try and ask that questions in the next stream. Hopefully they'll answer it. I cannot promise that they will, but let me know in the comment section below what you guys want to know of Shadow of War, and I will try and pop those questions during the live stream next stream. And if you like this video, give me a thumbs up. If you dislike it, give me a thumbs down, but please tell me why, so I can improve my videos. My name is Frank, I'm the Red Tie Guy, and frankly, thank you for watching. Catch you guys in the next video.